Hello, Virgo. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If Virgo is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is going to be a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I might provide. And remember, Virgo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. We start with the Seven of Cups. You're somebody who really, you don't put up with BS. You don't put up with nonsense in your life. You're somebody who can appreciate a good thing, can recognize when that thing's not good anymore and it needs to go out. You're somebody that you don't linger, in life. I feel that you accept things for what they are, Sometimes the Seven of Cups is this feeling like we're sort of stuck in the mud, or we feel as if we're in a situation that is becoming toxic and we can't really get out of it. But it's the recognition that we can and we will get out of it, right? Because you're usually somebody that things start to sort of take a turn for the worse, and you know when to walk away from things. Okay, that's the point. You know when maybe I've been eating a little too much ice cream lately. I got to lay off. That you're able to recognize the signs before things get too terrible, before you get too sort of locked in or stuck in a situation. Okay, that's a very good skill to have. It's because you're observant, because you're awake and you're aware, right? So you're able to anticipate things and make certain preparations for those things. Okay, could be right now that you're experiencing a little bit of a health concern. I don't think it's anything big, but it's something that you're like, okay, I'm feeling something. I might have to sort of take a look. You can appreciate the subtle things in life. You're aware, again, you're awake and aware of those subtle things that might be the early clues of something else, of something bigger, something deeper. You can see the little tiny red flags may become bigger problems later, so you pay attention to them now, right? It's very good energy. Let's see where this is helping you, okay? Let's see what this situation might be. We're going to put this card into some context. You've got very good money instincts. Very good money instincts. You kind of know when something is too good to be true. You know when something is like, okay, that thing over there is a little bit too cheap. It must not be the best quality, right? When something is presented in this way to try to convince people to buy it or whatever, like you're like, I'd rather spend my money on something that's of a higher quality, right? So I wonder if this is maybe a little bit of energy about how you're spending your money, how you're spending your resources, okay? What you're putting your resources into, what you're investing in, who you're investing in. But I think also you're looking for quality, okay, and not quantity. So you've got money to spend, you want to spend it, you're going to spend it on the right stuff, Let's see, let's keep going here. We got the Three of Pentacles. Yeah, there we see, exactly right. Eight of Pentacles. We've got that Emperor card. We've got that Universe card. We've got that Star card. Very good major arcana energies. Shielding you, protecting you, right? I think this is nice. I think the Eight of Pentacles is exactly that awake, powerful observation. This card is the Sun in Virgo. So this is, I mean, this really should be one of your power cards. This is kind of one of the stereotype Virgo cards, you know. It's your analysis, your attention to detail, the way that you can really focus on the really small things that other people would be like, that doesn't mean anything, it's insignificant. You can see the significance of things before they happen, you know, because you are awake and you are aware. And so you maybe are looking at something as being a very good investment or maybe not so good investment, okay? I think this is serious. I think you take it seriously. I think your fate is changing because I think that there is there's a recognition here of something that there's the again, the appearance of that tiny red flag. And it's kind of like you get a little tickle in the back of your throat. You think, uh-oh, I better rest. I better get better drink a lot of water. I better gargle or whatever. Because you know that if you ignore it, it may become a full-on flu or cold, right? And so you are aware of those very subtle things. You get a little bubble in your tummy. Uh-oh, okay, I got to go on a bland diet, and I got to be very careful. I've got to make sure this doesn't turn into something big. Yeah. And I think that with the Seven of Cups here, you're getting that subtle perception that something is changing here. And of course, the Eight of Pentacles is the sort of maintenance of the health, right? If we're talking, I don't know that we're talking about health. I'm not a doctor, but obviously. But in that analogy, the Seven of Cups is I'm able to perceive that something's a little off. And I know what I've got to do, right? Three of Pentacles, in order to maintain the homeostasis, to maintain the balance. Okay? It's kind of like you know where to spend your money, where to save your money. I mean, you know, your resources are there. Where is there? In the bank? Are they in the economy? Are you spending it? Are you keeping it in your mattress? You know what I mean? Because, you know, the energy that we have in us, and maybe we're talking money, maybe we're talking vital energy and health, you know. But that energy is sort of stored somewhere, right? It's never created or destroyed. It's just sort of transformed. And I think that you're trying to maintain a balanced budget in a way. And so you realize, okay, the Seven of Cups, starting to get a little stinky here. Something's got to change. Okay, I think you're able to sort of put your ear to the ground, and you can see, you can hear, you can feel, you can sense that things are changing, and you've got to start adapting now. Okay. Anyway, let's keep going. Seven of Wands. Yep. Hermit. There is your superpower card. This is the Hermit. It's the card that rules the sign of Virgo. Okay. Every major arcana card represents either an elemental energy, a planetary energy, or a zodiac energy, and this just happens to be the Virgo card, okay? Now, if you notice, this next card's going to come out upside down, and it happens to be the Hanged Man. See, the way I lay out my cards, they're right side up, but sometimes one sneaks in, you know? I don't read reversals. I think every card has light and shadow. Depending on where it is in the spread and what cards are next to it, it's going to be a little bit more shadow or a little bit more light. But when I do have a card that comes out upside down, it means something. It's more significant because I really try to go out of my way to not let that happen. So despite my efforts, maybe I've been a little careless, obviously, we have a card that's upside down. So to me, that makes it more meaningful, rather than if I just took my entire pack and as I shuffle, I'm just turning them back and forth like this, and then you generally get about 50-50 upside down cards, you know, which a lot of people do, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not what I do. Maybe I'm lazy. I don't know. But we have the Hanged Man reversed, and now it sort of looks it looks like the Karate Kid. It looks like the Dave Matthews Band kind of the dancer or whatever is on their logo, right? But it looks like someone emerging from a Seven of Cups, a rather sticky situation, right? It looks like a triumphant victory here, right? Rather than traditionally, this card in its rightful place is someone that's sinking down, getting worse. And maybe this is just about you feel that tickle in your throat. What you don't want, of course, is to sink further into that illness. What you don't want to do is descend, right? What we want really is to emerge out of it. Okay, very good, very interesting. Now, we may not be talking about health. We may be talking about something more financial. We may be talking about a relationship, especially with the Hermit card over here. It could be a partnership, a business thing, family thing. I wonder if the Hermit is saying something's changing here, and you've got to search within to ask yourself the question, do you belong here? Because this Hermit is in the position of the environment. And the Hermit is, it's kind of a stranger in a strange land in a way. The Hermit in the environment is someone who's out in the world, but not of the world. This is someone that is in a crowded room, but is still alone, but in the best way possible, right? It's the idea of you're maintaining your sort of sovereignty, you're maintaining your agency and your resolve and your commitment, your sense of self, your boundaries. You're protecting yourself. You're trying not to be influenced by everybody around you. And it's kind of like if this is, if you're sort of trying to figure out what to buy, where to spend your money, what things to invest in, right? You don't want to be influenced by what everybody else is doing. You're not jumping on the bandwagon. You're not that kind of person. So despite what everybody else is doing, all your friends saying, oh, I know the right investments, I know which horse to bet on, I know, look at all, these are the popular products right now, these are all the cool things, all the kids are buying these, And you sort of are maintaining your own perspective, your own inner light that's guiding you to what is right for you. Okay? And this, I know we're using the silly analogy of money and spending things and buying products and stuff. And maybe it is that simple. Maybe this has something more to do with your emotional health, with your life path in general. Okay? What we have is the Emperor inside of this Hermit energy. In other words, the Emperor is obviously an emperor, right? But going out in public, you kind of put on these robes. And you don't really, you make yourself more inconspicuous. It's like you think, I don't go to the grocery store in these flashy jackets, I don't like the attention. So, we sort of, in a spiritual way, we sort of dress down, right? We sort of blend in. And the Rosicrucian, right, wears the robe of their country. Right? It's not about standing out and making yourself a spectacle or making yourself above everybody else, and look at me kind of thing. It's just blending in. And I think that you're someone that kind of likes to blend in, but there's still that emperor inside of there. And the emperor, of course, is that sense of agency, that autonomy, that sovereignty that says you're making your own decisions. But you're out in the world, and you're wearing your protective cloak. You're not being influenced by others, right? That you're you're observing what's going on from a kind of almost a hidden sort of perspective. Okay, but I think that the Hermit in the environment is also asking the question: do you belong here, or are you are you turning away from something that is, in terms of your relationships, either with a particular person or just with people in general, right? Are you sort of going hermit mode here? Okay? And that might be part of the way things are changing for you. Or what we could see is that things are changing from the perspective of the emperor. The emperor might say, hey, I've got to go out into the world. I'm going to just take my crown off, right? Take off all these red clothes and just put on some normal. See, this is still a red cloak, see? But it's not as bright and flashy as the Emperor. It's just sort of, it's toned down, let's say. And so it could really be, hey, I recognize the need to go out and form some relationships and make some connections and be part of the world. I need to go out and spend some money and do these sort of, normal things. But you're making the smart move by protecting yourself from that influence. See, I don't feel that you're an antisocial person, but I don't feel that you go out of your way to really try to be the life of the party or try to be extremely social. Okay? You like the quality friendships and relationships, and especially if there's a necessity, okay, I have to go to the grocery store today, so I'm just going to, I'm going to try to just do it as quietly and as quickly as possible. So I think you make the right connections, but it's the quality, not the quantity. Yeah. Let's select our mystery card before I forget. Bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. It's going to go right here with our little sea turtle. I think it's a sea turtle. If you have a name, perhaps, for the sea turtle, please let me know in the comments. If you have a prediction for that card, please let me know in the comments. We should do it together to sort of exercise our intuition. Yeah. Okay, let's look around the room one more time. We've got major, 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 major. This is a big major event for you. This is a major change of your fate. Okay, and I don't know how else to talk about it except saying that it's the Emperor that's sort of going hermit mode. In a way, it's kind of like you're hiding your light away a little bit. You're not trying to put yourself out there as, like reveal. It's like, what is that show? Gosh. The Undercover Boss or Undercover CEO or something, right? That you're trying to do something like that. Maybe literally that. But it feels as if you have to, you can't just go outside. You can't go out into this situation shining your light as you do at home, right? You are sort of, and maybe, I don't know, maybe you're famous or something. We do have some famous people that watch the channel, so I could be talking to you. You know who I'm talking about, Keanu, okay? Which actually, Keanu Reeves is a Virgo, and he does typically dress down when he's out in public, at least from what I've seen. But anyway, the shift here, I think, is from the this position of authority and leadership, right, into one where we're trying to blend in more, to see what, and maybe this has something to do with this Seven of Cups. That there is this tiny red flag that you see. So the Hermit is kind of going to investigate that. And this really could be, if we think of these cards together, well, maybe the Emperor has felt a little tickle in the back of their throat and is going to take some time to recover, to sort of preemptively stay home, take care of it, Maybe. I kind of see the Hermit as somebody who is a little under the weather, but is going out to the store to get the medicine they need, to get the food that they need or whatever, and they're just sort of bundled up, okay? But again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not predicting any kind of a cold or flu or anything. But the idea here is that the Emperor has observed something, some subtle clue that something isn't quite right, okay? We've got a Three of Pentacles on top of it. A lot of major arcana. Okay, the universe card sort of representing the world itself, right? Representing perhaps the need to expand some of our horizons, right? Maybe expand the realm in which you are operating. In a way, looking at these cards, the Emperor is realizing that this small section of the kingdom is in need of a little work, right? The Three of Pentacles is where you're putting your attention. The Three of Pentacles is the card of work. It's understanding the process of creation on the physical plane. So you get that Seven of Cups. I know what I need to do to fix that Seven of Cups. I know what I need to do to get out of this, to restore the homeostasis, the balance, the health, right, of the Eight of Pentacles. And it's just a matter now of collecting the resources, and maybe the Hermit is out there sort of collecting the resources that it needs, right, in order to, it's kind of like you feel that tickle in the back of your throat. Suddenly you're at the store buying everything you need for the chicken soup, and then you're at home and you're cooking it. And I think that this is, in a way, you can't afford any of the downtime. Okay, so when you get a red flag, and again, this doesn't have to be literally a cold and stuff, but you can't afford the downtime in your life. So when you get a little red flag, you work very diligently to correct it, to fix it, to get to the bottom of it, whatever you have to do so that it doesn't slow down your progress. Whether this is financial, whether this is something at work, maybe this is something in relationships. We could be talking about a romantic relationship. And the Emperor's over here thinking everything's perfect. We get the red flag and we do what we need to do. We realize maybe that we got to go a little hermit mode. The hermit mode isn't exactly a breakup, right? But it is you taking the time to really see what's going on. Okay? And the change that we get with the three, like understanding the change with the Three of Pentacles, it could be that we've noticed a change in behavior. We notice that something that used to function fine is now acting different. My wife and I, we have cats, right? Got two of them. So when they start acting differently, right? And yeah, I think some of you know what I'm talking about. When a cat starts acting weird, it's like, okay, what's going to happen? I'm from California. When our cat started acting weird, we said, uh-oh, there's going to be an earthquake. Sure enough, most of the time, the cats were right, I'm not predicting any earthquakes. But I think that, the Three of Pentacles is your perception that there's some sort of anomaly in the world. You're perceiving something that is perhaps predicting a Seven of Cups unless you prevent it. And I think maybe you've even had that sort of premonition that there's something out of balance, right, in the world. And if you let it go, if you don't do anything about it, I think we will get this Seven of Cups. We will sink into this mud, this quicksand. We will be slowed down, right? We will be stuck in this toxic sort of environment. And you're not going to let that happen, okay? The universe card up at the top here is kind of saying that you don't have a lot of time to sort of fart around, that this is, you have a sense of urgency about you. I think it's happening fast. I think we can't afford to sit on our hands and wait for stronger confirmations. I think you trust yourself. I think that's the thing about the Emperor. Well, the Emperor, the Star, the Hermit, there's a trust in yourself. And when you get that little tiny red flag, you listen to it. Because the longer you delay, the worse things are going to get and the more it's going to cost. Either physically, financially, or in emotional energy or whatever, right? So we don't have time to delay. And I think that in your life, you're working toward progress. You're looking to sort of expand your kingdom, your empire, You're looking to build the business, or you're looking to build the family, or to establish more quality relationships. I don't think you're really looking for a hermit in a little cave or a little cabin in the woods somewhere, right? You're trying to network. You're trying to expand your life, right? And do all the right things. Yeah. And this is a card that it kind of says, especially when it's above the Eight of the Eight of Pentacles here. We can be patient and calm and observing, but we can't be idle. We cannot delay. Sometimes the universe card is a card of delay. Okay. Prudence, caution, subtlety, right? And the right sort of care and observation is perfect, but delay, bad news. Okay, and there's a difference between those two. And the Emperor has to make decisions. Has to be able to see that things are trending toward a Seven of Cups and say, here's what we've got to do. Right? Because you're on this path of destiny. Right? The Star card, this is wonderful. The Star card is kind of helping us to answer the question, who am I, where am I going? And I think you have a strong sense of your own destiny. I think that you have a very strong connection with spirit, with your own true self, your spirit guides, your guardian angels, that sort of thing. And I think that you're always making the decisions that lead you in that direction, the direction of fate and destiny, the direction of what's meant for you and what your sort of spiritual will and what that spiritual current is sort of showing you. Okay, you've done the work. And it's a matter really of trusting in that. Now, we notice in the reading here, we've got all these major arcana cards. We've got a little bit of fire, a little bit of water. We don't have any air. And we've got the earth cards. So we don't have any air because you're not arguing with spirit. You're saying, okay, you're just sort of following your energy. And that's why we've got the hermit in the environment. That is your superpower card. That is the best version of yourself. That the hermit sort of represents your true self, represents you with your true self, right? There's no swords cards here. You're not arguing with the divine energy. You're saying, okay, something's changing. I've got to adapt and figure it out and work with that energy and move forward. Okay? And yeah, I find that this is, what we have here is really, really good. Okay? But it does say that, hey, something is changing. If things are trending toward a Seven of Cups, you've got to do what you need to do now to maintain your equilibrium, your balance, your balanced growth. Right? Your slow and steady progress in life. We don't want delay. In delay, of course, if we get the Seven of Cups full on, yeah, your progress in life is going to be delayed, whether we're talking spiritually, physically, financially, emotionally, whatever it is, all of these things, I think. We're going to talk about the path of the serpent now. As we do this, I'd like to ask for your subscription. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free. Supports the channel. I have another channel, Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories. Go check me out over there. Your general energy is a Seven of Wands. You are generally a solitary person. Even if you're in a group, even if you're in a relationship or a family, you're kind of a me against the world type of person. Yeah. And, I think that you've always had to be this way. I think that it's the way you were raised. It's all your experiences growing up. Like, it molded you into this person. You indeed are the emperor of your own life. It's not gender specific. You're the emperor of your own life, and in some ways that sort of feels like a hermit mode. It feels a little isolating sometimes. We think of, in any of these kind of movies and books and things, we think of an emperor or a ruler or something like this, someone in charge of everything, and it's kind of a lonely gig, because there's not a lot of, there's always, I think, an underlying suspicion of everybody around you. We don't have any swords cards here. I don't feel that that's something that's a problem. I think it's just you realizing that, you're the one responsible for everything. And it is kind of, and really it's true about all of us, I think, that I'm the only one inside this body. I'm the only one that's inside this point of view or this sphere of awareness. We're all alone ultimately, right, inside of ourselves. And I think it's just kind of, it's just par for the course. And So it's difficult, I think, for you to maybe ask for help or to be comfortable in a partnership. Okay. Which, is probably why we have the hermit in the environment. Even when you are in a group of people, you're still realizing that your consciousness is sort of stuck inside this body right now, and no one else is in here with us. Or at least that's the idea, The Seven of Wands is also a very strong energy that is kind of saying, when there's a problem, you're strong enough to handle it, even if it takes some time, even if it takes a lot of effort. This is you sort of standing up to the problem right away. Like, you're not someone that waits for backup, And I think this is necessary right now. If your fate is changing this quickly, you've got to just be able to react, respond, and to adapt to the situation and overcome the challenges. Okay? Sometimes this card is about you fighting more than you need to, though. Yeah? It's not a 6 of Wands. It's a 7. It's kind of like you've already won, but you're still throwing punches. It's like, wait a minute, Or sometimes it's the idea that we are up against a brick wall and we just keep punching the brick wall or hitting it with a hammer when you can just sort of walk around the wall. You're not fenced in, So this could be more effort than is actually needed in a situation. It could be, but whatever situation you're in, if it's a work thing, if it's a romantic relationship, a family thing, friends, whatever it is, it almost feels like you're fighting to save something that's kind of already gone. Okay? And I know that's kind of that's a showstopper, really. I mean, that kind of stops us in our tracks, If that's the case. Maybe it's a relationship, maybe it's a friendship, maybe it's, I don't know. But the energy that you're putting into it seems like it's sort of resisting, in a way, that current of will, that current of spirit. So let's just be aware of that. Let's ask ourselves if we're fighting to save something now that's beyond saving. Okay? If we're fighting against something that is kind of just an inevitability. We have some big, maybe a big electric bill this month or something, and it's just, we can call customer service and we can argue and fight, but there's a point where we just have to sort of, okay, I'm done fighting, now I'm just going to figure out how to deal with it. Okay? We want the 6s. The 6s are the perfect cards of the tarot. The 7 is a little bit too much. Okay? We talked about the hermit energy in the environment here. The hermit in terms of your relationships, which is sort of talking about a difficulty making new connections. Not so much a difficulty, really, but almost a reluctance. I feel like once you sort of acquiesce and say, okay, fine, I'm going to start getting to know people, it comes relatively easily to you. You're good at it. But I think it just takes a little bit of a push to get you started. Okay? And, so if you've been fighting to save something, it's just because you don't want to have to go and do it again or find another one. And we could be talking about people, friends, a job, whatever it is. You're good at it, though, The Hanged Man in the position of sort of the obstacle or the difficulty, I don't feel that this is so much a difficulty for you. I feel like this card came out upside down. This is a triumph. If the card is like this in its normal position, I feel like we are sinking dangerously deep into our 7 of Cups. That we're getting more and more stuck here, and it is toxic, and it's preventing your progress. It's really a bad spot, right? But you've got this card of triumph. You've got this the other way around. And it's kind of like you are able to sort of dance over the surface of the water because you kind of knew that it was coming, right? You have this sort of premonition or this preemptive awareness that could see the little tiny red flags. And so you're able to just sort of tiptoe through the swamp, right? Rather than sink down into it. And maybe that's kind of a very special gift that you have, is the ability to perceive that when no one else really can. You know, you're kind of like, watch your step, there's a booby trap there. And someone's like, what are you talking about? But sure enough, it is there, right? And if you can anticipate that kind of potential Seven of Cups, you can tread lightly. You can go around it. You can do things that you need to in order to not sink into that. So I kind of feel like this is somebody that's sort of tiptoeing through, the quicksand because they knew it was there. You're not falling for the trap. You're not sinking into something that other people in their sort of oblivion just stumble and fall right into the pit. But you're cautious in that way. And I don't think it's paranoia. I don't think it's sort of, someone that's overly cautious. I think you just get these intuitive hits. I don't know if you have a dream about something or if it's just something speaks to you and you say, wait a minute, there's a little red flag there. It's so small no one else can see it, but you know it's there. You can sort of smell something in the wind. You can feel the vibrations of the earth before anybody else does. You're like the cat. Who they just start acting funny. And it's like they know something that I don't know. They can sense the change in air pressure or something, right? And they know that something's coming. Yeah. And you've got to trust in that because that's going to save you from a lot of swamp Seven of Cups type of stuff. The Moon card at the end here, this is a doorway. This is saying that we don't know exactly what your fate is changing into. We know that we are avoiding this trap, we're avoiding this snare, this calamity, we're avoiding this swamp or this quicksand, but we don't really know what is coming after it. If your path is sort of changing, if you're being rerouted onto a detour by Spirit, we don't really know what that path is going to be like because we can never anticipate the future. There's no such thing as certainty, right? We can be 99.999% sure that the sun will rise at some point in the next 24 hours, but we cannot be sure. I could be sure enough that I'd place a bet on it. Yeah, I would. But with my luck, that would be the day the sun don't rise, and I'll lose everything. So I won't do it. I'm not a gambler. But this is kind of, this is that real awareness and maybe this is what helps you to anticipate things like this, because you know that everything is sort of unpredictable and there is no such thing as true absolute clarity. There's always things hidden from you. There are always things that we don't know. There are always, calamity just around the corner, right? Every moment we exist, we're looking into a void. We're staring into an abyss, and every moment we're always taking a step into a very dark, scary forest. The hermit just happens to be someone that's comfortable in those dark, scary forests because the hermit has that inner light. And we see that inner light down here as that sun in the card. So you're very comfortable in the unpredictability. You're comfortable in the abyss, in the void, in the chaos even. And I think this is a very strong, brave, and courageous quality in you. That you may not know what's coming next, but you know that you're going to navigate it well, and it's going to be really good. It's going to be fine, right? It's your ability to sort of sense danger. You think of somebody who's sort of living out in the wilderness, and over time they come to know what the birds are saying, and when the wind blows, they know what that means, because you're very much in touch with that environment. Maybe you're like that with nature. I don't know. Maybe you talk to the birds and the trees. You hear the message. You can feel the vibrations in the earth, and you can smell whatever's on the wind, you know? And it really, if you follow that and you trust that, everything works out splendidly for you. It's when you go against that that you meet with disaster. Let's look at our mystery card. Yeah. Maybe, I don't know, what is this going to be? I think it's going to be some earth energy or some water. I mean, that's what we've got. I'm thinking maybe a 9 or a 10 of something. I don't know if it's going to be that hermit energy again. I kind of want to say it is, but I don't think so. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments down below. Let's see. Well, it's our good old 7 of Wands again. You're here defending a position. You're here fighting for something. It's an unwinnable battle. Okay? And so this is one of those moments, I think, where if it's fight or flight, well, you're being told flight. Yeah. Because this is maybe a very noble thing. You may be very willing to sort of sacrifice yourself and fight till the death here. And this is the hill I'm going to die on, but is it worth it? Is that what Spirit is telling you? Okay. And I think that really does relate to our Hanged Man too, because the Hanged Man is kind of saying, I'm willing to sacrifice everything I've got for this. Right? This is the hill that I'm going to die on, and this is me being willing to give it up for whatever this is. But Spirit showing you the Hanged Man in a position of triumph, saying, live, right? Live to fight another day, right? We'll throw back to Friday there. Shout out to Chris Tucker. I heard he's a fan of the show, believe it or not. I don't think he's a Virgo, though, so he's probably not watching. This is saying that maybe we've got the strength and the will, and you've got this sort of you've got this sense of purpose. You've got this valor, right, to fight, to stay here, and no matter what, you're defending this thing, whether it's a business or a relationship or your position on something or whatever it is. But I think Spirit's telling you that it's an unwinnable battle. And it's better to just put down your weapons and follow the path wherever it's leading you. You're struggling so hard to stay right here, and I think that the 7 of Cups is looming. Okay? If we don't change course, we're going to be stuck in that 7 of Cups. And again, it's the unwinnable battle. Continuing to fight for something that's already gone, that's already, let's say, lost, right, is going to bring you nothing but pain and suffering. Okay? I don't think that's what you want to hear. I apologize, but I'm not sorry. Because this is what Spirit wants you to hear. Okay? And you're being told to follow your star. And I think your star is leading you away from this. And it's kind of like your friends or Spirit is like pulling you away from the fight to say, no, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. Let's just go this way. And we see that motif a lot in movies and stuff too, right? Where somebody's just like, I'm going to stay here. I'm going to fight the monster. No, you idiot. Let's get out of here. You can't win against the monster. It's an immortal beast, And, in a certain sense, maybe that's what the Emperor energy is. Maybe the Emperor energy is something that you are sort of, fighting against. It could be. And maybe you're sort of fighting for authority. Maybe this is a competition kind of thing between you and a coworker. Maybe this is between you and a boss, and it's kind of like you're fighting you're fighting the man here, right? It's an unwinnable battle in this case. Doesn't mean there's not something very noble about it. But Spirit's trying to show you that, hey, this is just it's not your path anymore. We don't need to keep fighting against this. What we need to do is kind of wake up, smell the coffee, right? Smell what's coming on the breeze, and let's move into this other direction. It's going to be more profitable and hospitable for you. I don't know that it's really you fighting with a boss or something, but I feel like it's an unwinnable battle, or you're fighting for something that's already kind of been settled. It's already done. There is no undoing it, you know. We're going to do an extended reading. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Virgo, Tuesday and Saturday. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free. Also, go sub over at Dove and Serpent Bedtime Stories. Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we're all in this together.